Welcome to Sonoran Stories with Admissions, an official podcast of Sonoran University of Health Sciences. I'm your host, Courtney, and I'm so glad that you're here. On this podcast, we explore the real journeys, honest insight, and inspiring voices that make our community so unique. If you're curious about a future in naturopathic medicine, clinical nutrition, integrative health, this is the place for you. Let's jump into today's episode. Okay, so this is going to be very informative. Today's episode, we are meeting with the admissions team. See, every student's journey to Sonoran starts with a conversation with us here in the admissions department. Today, you're going to meet some of those people on the other side of that conversation. The admissions team will guide and support you throughout your whole process towards becoming a student, and who will walk alongside you from the very early doubts of, I don't know if I can do this, all the way through to congratulations and welcome to Sonoran University. Within the admissions department, you would likely meet with any of these four very special individuals. In the first phase of your admissions process, you would meet with myself or Quentin, and then into the second phase of your admissions process, you would meet with Jain or Jody. So, without further ado, drum roll please, I'd like to introduce to you the admissions team. Let's start with Jain. Jain, will you introduce yourself?
It's great to meet everybody. So I am the admissions representative that really assists candidates whose last names begin with the letter M through Z. But Jody and I make a solid team. So anybody that needs help, our goal is to definitely help you prepare for your successful interview experience. I have had an interesting journey here with Sonoran University. Originally came in 2007 in more of an administrative role. I was an executive assistant at that first position, supporting this admissions team. And then gradually had the opportunity to continue to grow and learn and offer the same incredible services, the guidance that we do. And I was able to really move into this key position for admissions here. So I've been at Sonoran. Technically, overall, I've been a part of this community, like I said, since 2007. But I did have a little side adventure. I got offered a really unique opportunity in 2013. So I stepped away for a short time and was gone from 2013 till 2019. But then it was just really great timing, power of intention. I wanted to be close to those that were very powerful and important to me. So it just worked out well that I got to come right back to Sonoran, the admissions team specifically. Everything is perfect for me. So here we are.
Awesome. I love that. Jody, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and thanks for having me, Courtney. So my name is Jody Durham. I am originally from South Bend, Indiana. My family and I moved out here in 2002, so we have been out here for quite a while. Home will always be Indiana, but I absolutely love Arizona. I have two girls. One lives here in Gilbert, and the other, her husband is in Kentucky. He is in the Army, so they reside in Kentucky. And I have a total of 6 grandchildren, so ranging from year 3 all the way to 11 years old. So they are fantastic and definitely keep me busy. As far as here at Sonoran, I have the opportunity to work with candidates with last names A through L. Very, very close team. We work very well together. We start working with students from the time they are taking their prerequisites all the way to the time that, you enter that door and we welcome you to Sonoran. So absolutely love it. In August, I will celebrate my 20th year here at Sonoran. Before Sonoran, I actually was in the mortgage business. So I did home financing from the time I moved out here to the time I started Sonoran. So very stressful. I learned a lot, but it just wasn't my calling. It wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
until I found Sonoran. It was fantastic. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you, Jody. So I'm actually kind of the baby, I guess, in the admissions team. My name's Courtney. Just a little bit of background. For me, I am actually coming up on 2 years with Sonoran, so that's really exciting. It has been such an honor and a pleasure to join this incredible team. I have a little bit of a different role, so I get the opportunity to meet with any and everybody that is just starting out at the beginning of the process. You might not really know very much about becoming an ND or how to become an ND or what's the difference between an ND, MD, DO, RN. So it's really exciting because I get that chance to kind of clarify everything for these, interested individuals that could be coming straight out of their undergrad or they're just getting into their undergrad studies trying to navigate the waters of what am I going to do next, all the way to career changes and the non-traditional student, maybe somebody that discovered this medicine through their own health journey or a loved one or friend's health journey. So it's really exciting to get that opportunity to plant the seed, help clarify things, and then just kind of walk through the basic steps of the process for admissions. And then once we get through those basic first steps, I would then kind of move you over into the introduction to either Jain or Jody, and then they will kind of take that relationship from there and nurture you through the process, ensuring that, success. So really exciting, wonderful group of individuals here that support the admissions process. So Jain, what made you come back to admissions?
Like I said earlier, the power of intention. Like I think the original finding of Sonoran University at the time was SCNM. And it was just kind of declaring I wanted to be anything to do with health. Like I think I was in real estate. So Jody mentioned she was doing mortgages. I was actually in real estate and selling houses. And
Mm-hmm.
I think at the time, uh, boy, the market was a little bit crazy and I wanted
Mm-hmm.
something a little more stable Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I had made a declaration that I wanted to be around something to do with health. I didn't care if I was
Mm-hmm.
the cashier at the high health down the street or whatever. I wanted to really get more involved. My own personal health journey made me more aware of taking care of myself and things. And then just naturally, things came into focus and in view
Mm-hmm.
that led me to SCNM. And so immediately, those
Yeah.
flags, Jody, you remember those flags?
Yeah,
Wow,
I sure do.
man. Yeah, so that's it, right? Immediately when
Mm-hmm.
you walk on that campus. And so then I'm there. I'm an administrative assistant doing my thing, growing into admissions and stuff. I also had this other kind of random part-time job that was, how do you put it? Stressful, but exciting. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because, most of us didn't plan on ending up in this specific role, doing this exact thing. And I think it's so
Mhm.
cool that how empathetic and loving and kind and how just in love you fall with this medicine and what we're doing to continue supporting the growth and the need. Obviously, there's a huge deficit for primary care practitioners, but the NDs, we need more of them. So it's really cool that we all
Right.
get to play our role.
you're absolutely right. The power of what we're creating here and the importance of keeping it moving forward. It's the powers of that intention because at the time when I got taken away, I didn't realize what else I was creating to invite that opportunity. But then while I'm on the road and doing those things, all the while I'm missing SNM. I'm missing my team here. I missed what was happening and
Yeah.
what else I could be doing here. So again, I kept my eye on opportunities, timing, and when the moment was right. Fortunately for me, everything just aligned perfectly with timing, being
Mhm.
back in Phoenix, being close to this community. It was so easy for me to say, yes, that's my moment. And I took opportunity. I jumped right in. Thank you for
Love it.
asking.
Yeah.
Love it. Jody, what did you know about naturopathic medicine? Obviously coming from a totally different world. What did you know about it before you got here?
You know what? I knew nothing. nothing at all. And keep in mind, my family was very allopathic driven. You only
Mhm.
saw an MD. You didn't see an osteopath. You didn't see a chiropractor. And back in Indiana, nobody knew what an ND was. And when I was at the mortgage company, I felt like I was really in a rut to where, you know what, I don't want to go to work today. I don't like my job. I didn't feel I had the passion of mortgages. It was fun, but it was also very, I hate to use this term, but it was very cutthroat to me. I mean, I remember my boss telling me, you know what, Jody, you're not a great salesman because you give people too much information. And I'm like, but I would want somebody to do that for me. So
Mhm.
I started at the time, we had the newspaper, believe it or not. And I started getting out the one ads. And I remember seeing an ad for a front desk person at a naturopathic school. And I was like, I have no clue what this is. I have no clue what naturopathic medicine is. I was like, I'm Googling or I'm looking it up on the computer and I see it, it's natural medicine. So I thought, you know what? My dream was I wanted to be a teacher growing up, never pursued it, but that was always my dream. I wanted
Mhm.
to educate people and help people find their goal or what their passion is. So
Mhm.
when this came about, I remember I actually just worked right down the street. 2 blocks
Mm.
was my mortgage company, and came down here on my lunch hour for the interview. And by the time I interviewed with our vice president of enrollment, Melissa, and by the time I got back to my my company, they had called me and offered me the job, and I was ecstatic. I walked
Mm.
in, gave my notice, and actually ended up starting that following week. Again, I knew nothing about this medicine, had no clue what I was getting myself into. I
Yeah.
started at the front desk. I was a receptionist. Then 6 months later, one of the admissions reps positions came open, and Melissa approached me and asked me if I was interested, and I said yes. And this is where I've been the whole 20 years, and it's the most rewarding. I enjoy my job so much that I like coming to work now. I
Yeah.
enjoy my job, and even after 20 years, I still
Mhm. Yeah.
enjoy my job. I absolutely love the people I work with. Like we belong together, you know.
Mhm.
It's been the most rewarding and fun job that I think I have ever had in all my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Wow.
I've learned so much about it. Naturopathic healing has helped my husband, it's helped my daughter, it's
Yeah.
helped me. I truly believe in the medicine and where I am today.
I love that. I have one really good question that I thought of, and I realize I don't know this answer, and I
Mhm.
don't know your story on this one particular question. So, Jane, first, what was the moment? Like, what happened that you it just it's a difference between working a job and making money to I believe in this. This is incredible, and I'm so lucky and happy to be here. There's like a moment I think where this like spark ignites this whole thing. So,
The whole community is mysterious
Mhm.
because we are all so driven with a like-minded purpose and vision. So the campus itself has changed quite a bit, but in the old academic building, when you stepped in the front door, there were these flags down the hallway that had the principles of a naturopathic doctor written on them.
mm,
And as you walk down that hallway and you read those principles, they strike your heart like it rings
yeah,
true. And you know if you belong here or not. You
yeah,
know that you want to be there or not. It's immediate. It doesn't
mm-hmm,
take a specific experience or a long time to realize when you
mm-hmm,
feel that energy running through your veins, you know that this is the place for me.
mm,
So it was very early on for me to know that,
yeah,
yeah, I want to be a part of this in any capacity. You feel that connection. So
yeah.
it was definitely early on for me.
What about you, Jody? What was your moment?
Community was probably the the biggest part. Everybody was so helpful,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
friendly,
Mhm.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, this is not normal in a job. I mean, I've had jobs like that before I moved out here. I managed a video store and it was my favorite job in the world. So am I ever going to find that again? I think my moment though, I'll never ever forget when I took the role of becoming an admissions rep. I remember the first phone call I picked up, and this student was from Indiana, and she was attending IU Bloomington. And I talked to her, and it was just like, wow, I'm really gonna make a difference. It gave me chills when I
Yeah.
talked to this student,
Mhm.
knowing, we're gonna go through the prerequisites. And she only had a couple prerequisites to do. So she was ready for the next incoming class. And that student started.
Yeah.
But it was just like, wow, I am living my dream. This is what I'm meant to do.
I love
So
that.
I'll never forget that student ever.
And there's so many moments like that
Yeah.
occur
Totally.
almost
Yes.
daily and
Mhm.
Yeah.
over and over. Or suddenly somebody looks at you and says, "You're the reason." And it's just like,
Oh,
"Me?
Yes.
What? I
Yes.
didn't know
gosh.
that. Wow."
Yes. Yes.
It chokes you up,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It does.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. And being new myself, you guys are it's funny cuz you said, Jody, that it was just this welcome, warm,
Right.
comfortable place as just in an environment in and of itself, and it's still
Yeah.
that way today, and we're just a little bigger and
Yeah.
a little bit newer buildings, and but the feeling, the family, the connection, the community is still very
It's
much
still the
the
same.
same. It's
Exactly.
so cool.
Yeah.
Everyone is
Yeah.
kind and
Yeah.
respectful and professional. And yeah, a
Yes.
lot of my friends get irritated because I'm the one that I love my job. I really do. I have a great day
Exactly.
every day.
Exactly. Exactly. Who doesn't
That's
want to
funny.
love their job? Who doesn't want to come to work every day and be like,
Yeah.
I'm here. This is what I'm meant to do. I don't
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
don't think twice about it. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, it's just who doesn't want to do that, you know?
It's so funny
So,
because
Making a
it's
difference.
not the actual job itself. It's the fulfillment that you get
the
from the job,
yeah.
and from
Mhm.
Yes.
the
Yeah.
interaction throughout the day. So,
Yes. And listening to everybody's story. Everybody has a different story and I'm like, wow, I mean, my phone calls can be with a student, my phone calls can be 30 minutes or they could be an hour and 30 minutes.
Mhm.
totally.
It just depends. That's the best part of my job is just listening to their stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a day actually for me, and my realization when everything changed and I saw this as a calling that I was getting a chance to fulfill this incredible opportunity where before it was a job. I hadn't
Hmm.
really known much about naturopathic medicine outside of my mom's own cancer journey, and I was a child and I went through it with her from a child's perspective, but really I just had not had a lot of experience. But I was graced with the opportunity to interview, and I really loved the team, and I could feel it right away that this was something special. Moving forward and getting offered this role and becoming a part of this team and watching it evolve has been an incredible part of it. But really, it for me, the moment was a day. It was the day that actually Jane had organized a shadowing opportunity for me, as a new person coming into this role. That's pretty common practice, and we even do it
Nice.
with the students, when they are future students and they're trying to learn more about this side of medicine. We recommend to experience a shadowing opportunity where you get to kind of be a fly on the wall and see how it works and what it looks like from a physician's perspective interacting with the patient. So I got to do that, and it was so
Yep.
cool, and it was just so eye-opening because it was different than what I thought it was going to be. I'm sitting there in this room and I'm welcomed by all the students that are there for their clinical shift and the physicians that are there overseeing this shift and experiencing how the conversation went, the communication style, the love, the general care that flowed throughout that room, one student to another, and they're learning and trying to understand, and how empathetic everybody else was to the challenge or issue that that one student was vocalizing, and everybody else tuned in, provided feedback. And it was just this, very evident common denominator of passion for what they were doing.
Nice.
And all of them were
Nice.
so smart and so unique and so different. And it was embraced. Everybody
Mhm.
it was very much comfortable being their unique self, but this common denominator of passion for becoming an ND, for naturopathic medicine, for helping, truly helping and healing this patient. And so the students would then go off into, their rooms where they would go sit with their patient and go through what they just talked about with the physicians there. And I sat down with one of our doctors that, I was still just learning who any and all of these doctors were. So I didn't know who she was yet, but she shared with me her story. I started asking her questions, and she was so excited to share with me. And
Mhm.
what she told me about her journey and what brought her to becoming now an ND, a resident there at our medical center. I mean, it just blew me away. It was incredible to hear all that she had been through. And it wasn't just like this wild, outlandish story. It's just interesting to hear a person's journey, typically starting out in their own health journey that brings them to the discovery of naturopathic medicine. And then this realization of, wow, this works. And I want to bring it to other people. And that's where that empathetic servant side really came out in her. And she just shared all the things that she plans to do in the community, in shelters, in opening her own clinics, and continuing to expand the access of naturopathic medicine. And I just sat there and I looked at this incredible human in front of me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is wow, this is amazing.
Right.
So after my shift, I went back into my office, and I'm still learning. And one of the first calls I get is an MD, traditional medical doctor in practice. I can't even remember how many years. And they told me, why they were interested in becoming an ND. And I remember thinking to myself, that's just crazy. You've spent so much time, money, energy, so much sacrifice into establishing this career in medicine. And he said, because I just want to heal people. I want to help heal people. I want the opportunity to spend time with my patients and get to the root cause. And that was the first time that statement ever really truly hit me, was getting to the root cause, and hearing this person who'd sacrificed all of this to just totally change careers, go back to school so that they could fulfill what they always believed was their purpose, to heal people, but they just hadn't
Mhm.
found that yet until then. So that's my moment when I fell in love with this. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to help people become this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So today I get moments where I tear up. I spend time on a call with somebody, and I know so much about them by the end of that call. Feel like we've
Right.
become family, So I'm just so
Mhm.
excited
Oh, yeah.
to help you and get you here. And I can't wait until you walk on this campus as a student.
Mhm.
And I cannot wait to cheer for you when you walk across that stage at graduation. It's like, it
Yes.
becomes so
Yes.
connected to you. It's such an honor every
Yeah.
single time I get to connect with a student that has gone through everything they've gone through to get here. And, in front of one
Right.
of us is just such an honor to be the recipient
Right.
of that. So,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
so I know people hear admissions and they imagine some mysterious, committee in a locked room, but we definitely are people. And I want to take a minute and explain the process. So Jody, would you mind going into details a little bit about the general process of admissions, from starting point meeting with me through the end?
Sure. Sure. So, of course, if you're inquiring about the program, or you're curious about naturopathic medicine, like Courtney said at the beginning, she's going to be your first contact, her or Quentin. So you're going to talk to either one of them. They're going to hear your story, to know you a little bit better. We'll talk you through the process, and go over that this is a 4-year on-campus program. They may talk a little bit about the area, or about living in Arizona, whatever questions that you have for either one of them. They're going to ask for your unofficial transcript so we can do a free evaluation and get an idea of where are you in the process? What do you still need to work on? What's your timeline look like? So once you send in your transcripts to Quentin or Courtney, now they're going to get those transcripts over to the evaluation department and we're going to do a free evaluation. Once that evaluation is completed, now you're assigned to Jane or I. Again, I work with last names A through L. Jane works with last
Uh-huh.
names M through Z. So Jane and I are going to review your transcripts. We're going to send you an email, let you know your evaluation is complete, and ask that you set up an appointment so we can go over it together. Usually our appointments are 30 minutes, but if we need longer, we can always set up another appointment. But our goal then is just to kind of get an idea of what's your timeline? Are you looking at maybe the next incoming class or maybe not until maybe fall of 2028? Get an idea of the prerequisites that you need. We're going to go in detail the prerequisites that help you succeed in our program. So you need to understand the foundation of the sciences. These are hard sciences. So we want you to take these sciences at the level we need you to. If you are accepted, is a better transition. So once we determine, your timeline, what prerequisites you need, we can talk about, okay, where do you take these prerequisites?
Mhm.
And then it's just a matter of moving forward with the prerequisites, staying in contact as far as, okay, what of my biologies and chemistries are done. You can send in an unofficial transcript after each class you take so that we can continuously update that transcript evaluation. And
Mhm.
then once we see that you're close in, when that
Mhm.
application comes open, then, we'll send you an email or you'll receive notification that that application is open. And then it's just a matter of starting the application. And we are there to help you through that as well. And then once you submit the application, then Jane and I will review and then hopefully offer you an interview. And then once the interview, hopefully you're accepted. And then we still love to talk to you because our job is to get you from point A to point B. And
Right.
we are with you the whole time. But Jane can chime in too if I miss something.
Right. No,
That was
you did
very
great.
thorough. Mhm.
And so when does a student apply? What are the different scenarios where that would be a good time to go ahead and head on over and do the application?
Right. The student can apply up to 1 year before you're ready to come in. So
Mhm.
usually what I tell a student is, so you got OChem and biochem usually left. When you're ready to take OChem, you're about a year from start. So a student can apply up to 1 year, and we recommend the sooner the better. So, why not get it out of the way so you know right away, especially if you're coming from out of state, if you're accepted, you can
Mhm.
start getting your life together, whether it's finances or maybe you have a house that you need to put up on the market, or you
Mhm.
need to get your life together to
Right.
make this move. So we highly encourage you to apply 1 year before you're ready to come in.
And Jane, what's the benefit for them to apply if they know, okay, I'm ready for spring of 27. I know spring of 27 is when I'm going to start. What's the benefit of them applying when the app opens spring of 26?
Well, I would play the lottery if I knew what the future held. That's how I like to put it. Like, it's so
Mhm.
helpful if you know what the future has to offer you. You can plan your future. You can do all those things Jody just alluded to of like, there's a lot to go into planning and preparing for this moment. So the earlier you hear that answer and have that confidence that there is a seat waiting for you, just the
Mhm.
faster and the more confidence you can take action and be ready for it. And your support structure around you. Make sure that
Mhm.
you have key things in place, that you're settled into
Yeah.
a new apartment and that your family knows what your upcoming schedule is going to be. Like, there's so many aspects that you want to just have confidence are secure while you go through this program over the next 3.5, 4 years. So
What about incentives? There's typically some scholarship opportunities for early applicants, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just a bonus. There's early action deadlines, there's priority deadlines, there is a variety of factors that are going to be just extra little bonuses coming along the way. So the
Mm-hmm.
earlier that you're eligible for those things, the better chance you have of actually getting those rewards.
Mhm.
Cool. Back to what you were talking about, Jody. Um, you had mentioned, you want to talk to somebody about the time that they're taking OChem, but what about the non-traditional student? They are dialing in, they've met with me, they've started the conversation with you because we've done a transcript evaluation and we've discovered, oh, they've got a prereq or two that they've got to iron out first before they'll be able to enroll. But they're ready. Or maybe even they've started the enrollment process for those prerequisites. When should they apply?
So I recommend more than likely they will need all of their sciences, which is pretty much a given. Okay, fine. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
take them about a year and a half to 2 years to complete those. Once they apply, they have to be offered an interview. I will have students have at least two, possibly three of the sciences completed with
Mm-hmm.
a grade before I will even offer them an interview.
Okay.
Mostly the reason being for that is because part of the interview process is an
Mm-hmm.
academic interview. So
Yeah.
you're going to be interviewing with one of our professors.
Right.
So a student needs to have that foundation of some sciences done
Mm-hmm.
in order for that academic interviewer to understand and see that how they're going to do in the sciences. That's all part of their department. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I will encourage students to have either 2 to 3 sciences done before even attempting to start an application and be offered an interview.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, let's really quickly just kind of touch on what those requirements are. So, usually when I meet with you and you are brand new to our system, just at the very beginning, phase one, my hands up, I'm ready to talk to you. Usually I'll send you an email that will include our prerequisite requirements. But that's just a piece of paper and can be really confusing to some folks if I don't get the opportunity to break it down. So, to the listener, I'd like to provide the clarity to it. What are the sciences, what are the academic prerequisite requirements? And even though I want to step back for a second, we have a very holistic admissions process. It's not just about test scores and your academics that qualify you or disqualify you. So just to kind of clarify that. So Jody, would you mind breaking down, what you would typically recommend
Yeah,
for
sure.
students to take for those? Maybe they're just in the beginning of designing their undergrad and they're sitting there trying to come up with a curriculum plan,
Right.
versus,
Right.
somebody that has already completed a degree. Maybe their degree was actually in arts and they're like, oh no, I don't
Yep.
have any sciences,
Yep.
so what are those prerequisites?
Right. So, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give you kind of two scenarios. So, you have the student that has an art degree. Perfect
Mm-hmm.
example. So, that
Mm-hmm.
student's not going to have any of the sciences. They're going to have a lot of humanities and, they're going to have their psychology, of course. They're going to have your arts, but they're not going to have any of the sciences. So,
Mm-hmm.
our prerequisites to start with is going to be 12 semester credits of biology. All of the biologies do require labs with them. And then 3 semester credits of organic chemistry, 3 semester credits of biochemistry, and then 3 semester credits of psychology. As far as the organic chemistry and the biochemistry, we do need a lab in one or the other. We don't need a lab in both. More
Mm-hmm.
than likely, you'll find a lab in OChem and not biochem, and
Mm-hmm.
that's totally fine. One other thing to remember is most of the schools out there will require you to have general chemistry 1 and 2 before they will let you jump into organic and biochem. So they want you to understand the foundation of chemistry
Mm-hmm.
before you take on OChem and biochem.
Makes
So,
sense.
we may only need what, 5 classes, but you may have to take 7.
Mhm.
So the art majors, of course, you're going to have all of the sciences. We usually recommend general biology 1 to start off with, learning the foundation, and then human anatomy and physiology 1 is extremely important. And then the third and final biology, we recommend microbiology. So
Mm.
those 3 biology courses are very, very good. Some students take genetics. That's fine. There's a variety of biologies that you can choose from, but we highly recommend taking a human anatomy and physiology and at least a microbiology
Mhm.
for at least 2 of them. And
Yeah.
then you have your student that is just trying to declare your major.
Mhm.
So they're, say, for instance, they've gone to a community college, got all of their humanities out of the way and their associate's degree. Now they're trying to figure out, okay, what should I get my major in? The great thing about it is we will accept any major. But if
Mhm.
you're trying to determine what you want your major to be, we recommend do a biology track, a pre-med track, or a
Mhm.
nutrition track.
Mhm.
Those that the sciences are built right into your major so that you're going to be required to take those sciences.
Mhm.
I love that we have such a variety of majors that join this community. The arts
Mhm.
Yeah.
background, the businesses background, the sciences background, like that really, I think, brings the variety and uniqueness and creativity to this community. And again, you might have that background, but we all still have a like-minded focus and vision for the future. So it's
Mhm.
common that students are near the end of their degree or already have completed it and need to circle back and get some of those prerequisites that Jody
Mhm.
mentioned. Happens all the
Mhm.
Mhm.
time. Yep.
Definitely. And it's so funny because I know all of us, we experience this when we go to these really fun fairs at all the different universities, grad fairs, and most of the pre-health students, they never thought about this path. A
Right.
lot of times they're like, "What? I didn't even know that was a thing." So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
funny that gets introduced oftentimes as students are kind of shopping around for the next step in their medical career, and this isn't even really a seed that was planted for them in the
Mhm.
options for medical and healthcare. It's pretty interesting when we get to say, "Oh no, we don't require the MCAT. We don't require
Mhm.
any exams for entry." I actually was gonna say GPA. Jody, did you want to touch on that part?
So we look at 2 GPAs, cumulative and prerequisite, and we do like to see a 3.0. So 3.0 is pretty standard as far as, but I don't want anybody to think, okay, well, I have my cumulative, I kind of struggled a little bit in undergrad. I may have my pre-med degree, but I kind of struggled a little bit in undergrad. So I have a 2.9. Talk
Mhm.
to Jane and I. That's what we're here for. Well, doesn't mean that we're not going to still offer you an interview, but we just have to coach you a little bit and see everything. We want to look at everything. We look at every student as a whole. We look at our students as a whole, just like our doctors do their patients. So,
Mhm.
one thing
Mhm.
Mhm.
I wanted to touch, Courtney, about the MCAT, I think it's really important that the audience understands why don't we require the MCAT? Every other
Sure.
medical school does.
Sure.
Our medicine is so individualized that we do not feel that it takes a test to tell me what kind of doctor you're going to be. If
Oof.
you're
Yeah.
treating, for an example, of 2 patients that are type 2 diabetes, you're going to treat them totally different depending on their lifestyle, depending
Right.
on what else is going on in their world.
Mhm.
And that's where we don't require the MCAT or the GRE.
We'll teach you everything you need to know to be an incredible
Yep.
naturopathic doctor right here.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to take a minute and lay out the land in a map, a roadmap for our future students. Okay, they've been admitted and they've got a little time before they start. What does that roadmap look like for them?
And again, this is why it's important to apply early because there are now several enrollment items that you need to get completed. So, usually when I'm talking with my candidates and preparing them for that interview, we only speak in the positive. I am assuming we have you ready for a successful interview, and the answer is going to be admit without a doubt. So, when we hear those words, you got to quickly get into action. Of course, not only finishing up those final prerequisites that you might have. In some cases, students still obviously just need to finish and graduate. But then there are these enrollment items just verifying that, yes, I accept admissions at Sonoran University. Yes, I want to come to your institution. Here is my photo identification to verify this is who I am. Here is my final transcript showing that I got an A in that last biochem. You will go through a checklist of items that's pretty extensive, that walks you through to the day you walk on campus for new student orientation. Everything from literally uploading photo identification, uploading even your favorite selfie, a headshot that we're going to use for your student badge because our campus is secure. You do need this badge to access buildings and rooms and labs, things like that. But then there's, of course, key documentation. Take your time in reading through electronic documents sent to you, such as an enrollment agreement, acknowledging which year, which term you're enrolling in, verifying you get access to a catalog, what is your per credit fee for that first year, things like that. Take your time in reviewing that. There's a document called Transfer Credit Acknowledgement. And this document actually confuses a lot of our incoming students because they hear it and they read it and they think that it's referring to prerequisites. And they check this box saying, yes, I have those classes and I want them to transfer in. But please don't be fooled. We're not asking about your prerequisites. When you read the transfer credit acknowledgement, this is specifically referring only to classes that may have been completed at the master's or doctorate level. These would be classes that might be considered towards your naturopathic curriculum in place of the credits that you would earn and complete in our program. So when you complete that transfer credit acknowledgement, the only time you might be checking yes is, again, if you've completed a master's or a doctorate program prior to coming here. Usually you've already told Jody and I about this, and we've talked to you about those transfer credits and what that process looks like and how to initiate it. But if this is new and this is a surprise that you might be able to ask for transfer credits, maybe pause and before you sign that document, reach back out to Jody and I and let's talk about it a little bit more in depth to see if you actually have something that might qualify. Otherwise, when you submit that form, if you selected the wrong box, believe it or not, it's going to trigger a whole bunch of things that will be incorrect on your internal application. So make sure that you take your time in understanding which box you're selecting. The moment you say that, yes, I want transfer credits, you'll be asked to submit new documents, another $300 fee, a lot of things that you're not going to want to deal with. So just reach out to us regarding that form. The other document you'll see is a technical standards acknowledgement. And this is physical ability, truly making sure you can complete the program, that you're able to meet physical requirements that are necessary to truly just complete the courses. Of course, we offer accommodations. And so this is that moment where if you do need accommodations, you can check the box here and say, yes, I would like to meet with someone to discuss what would be available in my case and my needs. And this might be everything from simply just testing accommodations. I need more time and here's why. And you would need doctor's notes. You would need certain information. We have a full department that you would meet with them to discuss your needs and verify that we can help you out. So again, take your time reading through the form. If you have any questions before you sign it, absolutely just reach out and we'll get you in touch with the right persons or department that can clarify your questions and just ensure that we're ready to provide everything you would need to get through this program successfully. So those are some important enrollment documents, and truly you want to get those signed off quickly. As you do each of these items, it triggers more action items within our system. We want to focus on your application and truly get you ready for that moment of walking on campus, new student orientation. So you have documents to sign, you have your identification to provide. Yes, there is a tuition deposit that locks in a seat for you for actually up to a year. Ideally for us, it's the very next class. You're starting in, say, fall 2026. We're locking in that seat with that deposit. That is easily paid right through your application portal. So you'll quickly see online new information will populate, new buttons will populate. A lot of action items will be right there present and easy for you to take care of each of these steps. If you're not sure of something, if you need more time for something, just be in communication with us. We want to support you. We want to work with you. We want to make sure that we make this process as smooth as possible. So communication is vital for us. We don't want that window to close. We know how hard you've worked to get to this moment. So we definitely don't want something on the back end to trigger an application to close simply because we haven't gotten a deposit or received your documents or something simple as that. We can talk through it and make sure that everything is managed effectively for you. Once we get through basic enrollment steps, then again, get those prerequisites done. We want to see nothing but A's and B's in those final prerequisites just to give us confidence that you are ready for the ND program. Eventually, you will be invited to start exploring My Sonoran. That's our intranet. Through My Sonoran, you're going to get student services access. You'll get your schedule. Every quarter, a new didactic schedule is posted. A lot of great information available through My Sonoran. You will also be invited to join Canvas. Canvas is our online learning platform. Maybe you've used it already in undergrad. Maybe you've used something similar. So once you get into Canvas, there are some great intro courses that you must complete. And that just familiarizes you again with different departments, different resources that are going to be at your fingertips once classes do begin with your cohort. If you're starting in the fall, I typically would encourage people to be settled in by about September 1st. Give yourself about a month to feel comfortable with your neighborhood, the area, where's your grocery store, have your internet on and ready to go. All these basic services that you don't want to be scrambling with the week of orientation or at the last minute trying to get settled in. So keep that in mind.
How can they meet other students in their cohort? How do they start connecting and maybe making those friendships to be roommates?
That's a great question. Currently, after you complete your interview and you've been admitted, well, we invite you to join a private group on Facebook. You first have to send us a friend request to Jody, Jain. We have a cute little joint Facebook page that's Jody, Jain. So send a friend request to us, and then you'll be invited to join a private group that is your incoming cohort, your classmates that also might be relocating, that might be looking for a roommate, or just want to introduce themselves, their backgrounds and their pets and their favorite hobbies and things like that. So right now we offer the Facebook connection.
Cool.
I don't know if that's very effective anymore.
I've had a lot of students that I've run into and actually started bringing onto the podcast that did really actually enjoy that, and they used it because I think it is actually a lot more valuable than we can probably see on the back end.
I think it starts a conversation, and then I think I've seen some of our students have taken the initiative to go create a group me or whatever the latest social media connection is for them.
Totally.
So, this is where we are at the moment and what we offer, but it's definitely a great starting point. So,
For sure.
yeah, go meet your
Very
future
cool.
classmates and get settled in. So just real quick, if you're starting in the fall, the goal would be kind of getting settled in around the beginning of September. If you're a spring cohort, if you're starting in the spring, we generally want to say try to get settled in around the beginning of March. So you're ready to go by the April 1st.
Very cool. Good advice. Okay, since we're on this topic, what are some recommendations from the both of you for some future students right now for preparing themselves for not just the admissions process, but that first year? You already mentioned, getting here, getting settled, start connecting with the area, the community, learning what's near you. But what else?
This is a tough program, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to take a lot of your time and a lot of your energy, and it's not easy. So you want to make sure that you take care of any issues that's going on before you start the program so that you are 100% committed to this program from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, life's gonna throw you curveballs.
Yeah.
We've all got curveballs, so we understand that. But to start out, you want to be ready. Our program is like drinking from a fire hose. So the
Exactly.
great thing about it is you have a lot of support,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that want to see you succeed, and we'll do whatever we can to make that happen. Just have to make sure you have that 100% commitment on your end.
Yeah.
Right. And we offer future students an immersive experience to help provide a little bit more clarity on what to expect.
Well, even before you've interviewed, I mean, early in the process, it's always encouraged that you come visit, come see where this community, this campus, Tempe in general, just know if this is the right fit and where you want to be for your next academic step. Experiencing our campus is so easy. Like Courtney mentioned earlier, she got to do a student for a day, but our candidates are always welcome to experience a lecture or see what's going on in different lab experiences. The best part of the student for a day would be actually shadowing on that full clinic rotation to truly see from start to finish and what those students are doing to prepare for their patient appointments, being a fly on the wall and see the actual interaction of our students and their patients, go back to that classroom and hear how they're understanding the symptoms, what they're thinking and diagnosing. And what's powerful in those clinic rotations is for that patient's experience, they might not realize it, but behind the scenes, there's probably 15 people sitting back there thinking about that individual and their health and their well-being and what's going to be the best protocol and the
Mm-hmm.
best care options. And it's really powerful. So to come in
Mm-hmm.
as a fly on the wall and watch this experience gives you so much joy and you're pulled. You want to be a part of that team. You
Mm-hmm.
know that this is the kind of doctor I want to be. And so that's a really good experience to come in and witness it firsthand. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you can listen to a lecture. There's nutrition lectures, there's physiology lectures, there's acupuncture labs. You can watch them as they're practicing the
Yeah.
meridians and points. And we actually have minor surgery lectures and labs so you can see how those students are learning. So we want you to see it for yourself and know that, yeah, I want to be a part of this too. Just even stopping in for 1 hour, Monday through Friday, we want to offer campus tour. We
Yeah.
want a student ambassador to walk you around and see the lab, see the campus, have a student explain to you what they're doing in the program and how they're learning so that you, again, are connected with somebody else that's on that path and can see firsthand if this is the right fit for you. So there's a variety of ways. In fact, we have multiple open house events. They're usually in the evening. So if you can't spend a full day, we try to create evenings or Saturday events at different times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And always want to check on our events page on our website to kind of keep a finger on the pulse of what's coming up if that's something you're interested in doing. A lot of students are coming from another state. How can they shadow? So I do want to point out that on the naturopathic.org page, you can select at the top where it says find a doctor, punch in your zip code, and using that search feature, you can find an assortment, hopefully, of NDs near you that you could reach out to and ask
Mhm.
about shadowing, just sharing with them that, hey, I'm really interested in becoming an ND. And I'd really love to know if shadowing you is an opportunity that you'd be able to to provide. And, to be quite honest with you, obviously they're going to be very busy, but it is such an honor to be asked to be that person's perspective of what an ND is. And even if that's not possible for you, just going in as a patient and experiencing it as a patient is also very, very powerful. As the admissions team, we are here to support you. As a future student, somebody that's interested, you just want to know more about it. Maybe you are already in love with it and you're ready to hit the go button. Whatever your position is, we are a GPS system for your journey to become a naturopathic doctor. So we're excited to talk to you, to engage with you, to meet you in person. You're welcome to come to our campus, do a tour, join one of our open house events. However it is you'd like to engage with us, we're really excited to meet with you. So thank you, Jane and Jody, for attending the episode today. I really appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of Sonoran Stories podcast with admissions. The stories and conversations coming up this season are inspiring, honest, and so full of wisdom, and I cannot wait for you to hear them. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any, and leave a rating. Share it with someone who might be exploring a future in integrative healthcare. I'm your host, Courtney Badowski, and this has been another episode of the Sonoran Stories podcast with admissions. I want to welcome you to the Sonoran community, and I'll see you next episode.